It is the earth quaking, pillars shaking, podcast listening, leader of the Meat Pop Express, Big Trouble Ben Bishop. And get ready, folks, because you are tuned in to the fastest growing professional wrestling podcast in the world, the 3 Count Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chaz Evans, and you are listening to the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring. Let's go down the roster. Introducing first, he is my tag team partner. He's the producer and the person that really runs this show because I don't do shit. I don't run shit. I just talk shit. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the owner of the Dog Pound. He is the Red Dog, Cliff Miller.
Hey, I know, normally I use, a catchphrase kind of thing here, but I'm just glad to be back from Jacksonville.
And introducing next, he is the 67th. Oh, wait, he's not here. Yeah, Idol's not here, so we're going to move on. And introducing next, last but certainly not the least, he is my little brother, and that is the only merit that gives him the opportunity to be on this show. He doesn't watch any type of wrestling. He watches What Culture and Ollie Davis, and yeah, he looks at YouTube videos all day. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know him as the Napster. You may know him as Josh or Joshua, but here on the 3 Count Podcast, we call him JJ.
First of all, I'd like to thank the sidewalks for keeping me off the street. Dangerous times out here. We have a revolutionary war coming out there, so just make sure y'all locked and loaded. Chitty chitty bang, murder everything. There we go. Yeah, that's all I got.
And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring. We got a special guest here in the 3 Count War Room. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Hyena Hexx.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for letting me be on the 3 Count Podcast. What's up, fellas?
Oh man, man. We're glad to have you on here. That's number one. We're glad to have you.
Glad to be a part, doing something productive during this quarantine times.
I feel you.
Plus the 4 race war, plus 2020 has been a freaking whole disaster. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I seen a post that was saying that pretty much 2020 is just, Jumanji, and each month is a new level. So we've reached level 6 of Jumanji. Only 6 more to go.
We're on 5 or 8.
True, right.
No shit. Oh, man, no shit.
But alrighty, here we go. We got all of us here at 3 Count Podcast. We're going to pick your brain, get into the mind of Hyena Hexx. We got 4 questions for you. I'll start. Cliff will follow. Then JJ will come in at the end. And after that, we have the famous 10 count questions. 10 questions. First thing that comes to your mind. It's the easiest test you could ever take in life. You cannot fail. I promise you, you can't fail. Someone said pumpkin to my SmackDown or Raw question. So you can't fail. But let's get right down to business. So I always ask this question to everybody that comes on, and today's going to be no different. How did you get started in professional wrestling?
How did I get started? Do you want to go back in childhood?
Oh, you can go as far back as you can remember.
Well,
it's all on you.
I didn't get it at first, and it was a big thing kids love to do. I was more on cartoons and whatnot, and then people were in my classrooms were like, "Are you an NWO or DX?" And I was like, "I don't know anybody right now, so I'm just gonna pick DX. It sounds pretty hot." And there was more NWO people than DX, so we got our asses handed to it. So that was just the weird thing. So I had to learn off all right, this is a big pandemic, like Pokemon right about now. So I gotta figure this out. But yeah, mainly my cousins had all the games. They had Nitro, WCW. They had the No Mercies. They had WWF Attitude. Like I would come over and they would just have the latest like toys of like action figures and whatnot. And then I love being playing with toys and whatnot. So I was like, all right, cool. I can get around with my like as soon as like our older cousins would watch us, we would just roughhouse and reenact the things they say do not reenact on the show. All we had to do was wait for the parents to leave, and we just went AWOL. Like we would fight backstage, like not backstage, but back like backyardish, like on porches that were like a little abandoned, like nails would be sticking out of them. One almost got me when I did a swanton. Beds, backyard. Mainly, I would go get my dad's like ladder and become like the Hardy Boys because that was like my favorite faction of all time in the Attitude Era. I was like, these guys are cool. I don't know what it is. I got the hot chick Lita. She's flying off the freaking top. I'm like, this is the greatest fucking faction ever. I don't want to see anything else. Everybody else was cool though. Like D'Lo Brown, I loved his attitude when he came to the ring. The Rock cut the funniest promos. Austin was just like, oh, you know what's going to happen if he showed up. Someone's going to get messed up. Triple H just had the squad and he just ran havoc. It was really cool back then. And like my dad would introduce me to ECW.
Ooh.
He was like, no, don't watch that fake stuff on WWE. Watch this real shit right here. And this is like in Chester County where like, hammer squeeze will put you to sleep. So I'm like, all right, cool. We watching it. I'm like watching New Jack beat the hell out of, I believe, the Baldies at the time or the Pit Bulls. And like you got like a dollar sign stapled to his head. And, like it was blood everywhere. And it was just I'm like a kid like eating it up like like a freaking gladiator war games. I'm just like, destroy each other. But it was dope. Like so throughout that, when I got to high school, I believe I just started staying in the gym more because like after I got out of middle school, it was mainly I like hit puberty and started like showing definitions like about athleticism and what. Like I always played sports throughout like my childhood and all that stuff, baseball, martial arts, and like football, which I hated. Sorry, I was more on baseball. I like baseball. I played in street basketball. I couldn't be in the league basketball. I had to play street ball. And I wouldn't play it like no regular street ball or like with sneakers ever. I had to be like NBA streets. Like I played it with Timbs. Just like
That's right. That's right. Play with some Timbs. Yes, sir.
I was weird. They will tell you, like, if you ever ask my family, they will always say, this motherfucker always balled in Timberlands and somehow getting baskets every time. And a mean hook shot next to my Gigolo uncle because he would throw them, hit them a tumble. So it was dope. But yeah, like in high school, got in shape, worked out, did college mainly for my folks because they wanted to have like, the first generation. I was like, all right, my mother is a cancer survivor twice, which is great. I was like, good, because the first time I was supposed to be in this world, and the second time I was like 15 dealing with it, going back forth from New York and whatnot. But like around that time, they always kept pushing me to do great and whatnot. So after college, I did that, and I was like, you know what? It's time to do pro wrestling. So I called up the Monster Factory, and this is when I was like, dirt broke. I didn't know how pro wrestling worked. I just was like, I looked up whatever school sounded cool at the time, and I talked to someone, and they was like, yo, bro, what's this, and blah, blah, blah. And then apparently we got like down to the diagnosis years later on. It was probably Riddle before he left the factory to go do other stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. Matt Riddle's on the phone. Great. I called and it was like, I think a deposit was $50. So I went to, I didn't go, I called later because I didn't have the funds at the time. I had quit Dollar General. And I just started working at Amazon, I believe, that 2 months. So I went there, did the tryout. Blue Meanie was there, the blue guy.
Hey.
That's literally my favorite dance. That's my favorite wrestling dance ever is the Blue Minis. Just going like...
His theme song still pops. I still bang it. Yeah, I was out of shape this time. I was mainly like a skinny dude. They gave me like this baggy training shirt, and it was telling me to bump in the ring. I did my few bumps. I did roll. It was like, all right, cool. When you want to actually put in for the deposit and all that stuff, I was like, what's the deposit? Not the deposit, but it's like, are you ready for pro wrestling? And it was like, all right, cool. How much is it? It's this amount of dollars. And I'm like, I thought it was $500. It's like, no, that's just the deposit, young man. the rest is in the thousands. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, it was bonkers. I was like, Jesus. So my first paycheck from Amazon, I worked all them days and did everything, got the entry. My friends got the entry bonus, whatever the hell fee. So I just threw it all into the deposit saying, like, I'm with this. I'm guaranteed. So that end of September into October, that's when I started training at the Monster Factory Pro Wrestling. And it was a blast. It was not easy. First bumps always suck every time. Every time. And it like your body's not used to training itself to fall on purpose. Mm-hmm. Getting used to the bumps and bruises and hitting the ropes and whatnot. So doing all that, it was pretty dope. And in that first year there at the Monster Factory, I had to work twice as hard because they trained at nights and I only could train like one time out of the week. And they had two facilities at the time when I was starting out, but the other facility, there was like some issues with them on their part. So we just had the one. But yeah, that whole first year, I paid off my whole tuition, trained twice as hard just so I can be able to get into the ring. And within that year, I was able to debut in 2016 in September against Manny Soriano of Primal Fear. So like we all like grew up learning and wrestling at the Monster Factory and digesting everything opportunity that came through there. I'm kind of glad the steps I've taken because honestly, it was like I was looking at 3 choices at the time before I chose pro wrestling. It was pretty much I can either go to the Navy, which I was at a naval school in Norfolk, Old Dominion University. That's where I graduated. And I was just like a baby, a sailor, because Popeye Sailor Man was cool. I like pirates, so that was also dope. so I was like, man, I could be, a naval officer, like a few of my friends. I was like, all right. Or I can ask my gigolo uncle to like put me on his payroll line and just start, being under his employment with his clients and everything else. Or pro wrestling. So I was like, no, just do the pro wrestling. If you don't do it, then then you have these other options because you're still young. And I didn't sign up till like I was 25. Cool. So that was my journey. So that was the options I had of going into pro wrestling. It was always something I thought about growing up as a child. So it was just those steps, and especially my big 2 influences with maintaining it was Def Jam Vendetta, because that was dope having a hip hop fighting game with like all these big time rappers and just like in the ring, and like Vendetta, DMX was the hardest person to beat in the damn game. And then like Fight for New York, it was like Ludacris and Fat Joe for some reason.
Yo, let's go. That's my game, man.
It was like Snoop Dogg wasn't that hard. The only hard part with Snoop Dogg in that game was trying to unlock his level, which you had to throw his ass out the window and finish him that way.
I hated Crack, man. Every time I was in the ring, man, Crack was killing me in that game. I hated Fat Joe.
Yo, he fucking pedigree you. He's so big.
Right.
And the Kinnikuman game, which was Ultimate Muscle at the time for 4 kids. Growing up, it would come on Fox Kids in the morning, and it was a pro wrestling anime, and I thought it was dope because they had all these interesting characters, and pretty much a lot of my fighting style in the ring is based off of that anime. It's based off of that show, and it's based off of video games mainly, like Soul Calibur or Tekken. So I try to incorporate those fighting styles in that anime driven and mold it into like my character mainly. Just his arc of style is really wild and unorthodox.
That's awesome. So my next question, and you kind of sort of answered it already, but while you were training in the Monster Factory, who was an inspiration for you?
Damian Priest.
Okay.
Damian Priest and LSG.
Any reason why?
Mainly, the other coaches, Danny Cage is a father figure of the Monster Factory. We always look up to him. He gave us a home. He always looks out for us. Bill Wiles came and go, but when he showed up, everyone listened. Meanie was doing Blue Meanie things. He was out being the blue guy. QT was making a documentary dealing with his own finances before he got to his own, was it Nightmare Factory now, I believe.
Yeah.
But he had the Power Factory before, which was, it's still a phenomenal facility. It's everything pro league, out the wazoo. Pro athletes, pro football players that legit go to Chips to train at for QT. So QT was focused on building himself up from the ground up again, if anything. So I didn't hang around with him too much. But mainly Damian Priest was there battling, like pretty much being the main coach, training all these students along with Danny Cage and showing us advanced stuff while he was dealing with Ring of Honor and like, you know, getting his TV stardom and buzz to the point where he finally was able to get to NXT and killing it. He had a phenomenal match with Finn Balor. I finally got to see that one. That was like crazy. But I always, when I watch him wrestle or do anything high flying, I always be like, I told him how to do it. He could do the ACH dive. It was so beautiful. Because that day it was funny though. I wish I could find a video. Because because I was the guy they would use to do all the stunts. Pretty much, I was the test dummy. Because I was lighting up and took everyone's moves good. So I was like, all right, cool. And it was a good way to experience both ends of how to take the move and how to give the move. So when Damian Priest would come in the ring, he'd be like, you, come here. How do you do this move? And like asking a high flying move. I'm like, what? I'm like, all you do is like you put your foot on it. Like I literally just walked and put one foot up, ran and just did the damn ACH dive. And then he followed afterwards and did it. And I was like, yes, he can fly. Every other flying thing he does is just different. He doesn't like, even when he does like a senton springboard senton type thing. Like if he's there, I won't do it. I won't do it. He's like, you do it too well. Stop it. I need to do it because he's an athletic big man. He's very power striking, and it's something not to sleep on. And I always loved it because he comes from a martial arts background where I can respect that level of like, you know, sensei to student and all that stuff. And I love it when your coaches or whatever, like they'll like hit you or whatever. Like that's what I learned in martial arts. They'll pop you with the kendo stick if your form is out of whack. He would like kick out your legs or whatever just to see if your form was down or anything else. And I like that. And I would do it to some of the students too. I'll be like, fix this, fix that. I'll like pop here just to get your body to remember, you know, how to prepare itself and all that stuff. So it's pretty dope. It's pretty weird though. I'm like sort of a coach there too. I'm more of a vet. I don't want to be considered a coach because we're all still learning, but I'm just like, I will still help you out if you ask. Or I'll just see it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going over there.
So this is a bonus question. This is not this is my show, so I can make the rules. So this is not a part of my 4 questions, but I have to ask this because you are a martial artist, and I'm also a martial artist as well. Part-time.
I'm not a full martial arts guy. I just sign up and do the damn things and just have the body to do it. That's literally what it is. I've done what is it? God damn it. Ken's Karate, which was like Taekwondo at first when I was at 5. I stopped when I was 8. I did Kung Fu without even knowing doing Kung Fu in middle school because it was a program to keep me off the streets at the school. So it was good. Then in high school, I just focused on mostly weightlifting. So everything else went out the window. Then when I got to college, I tried to pick back up mostly self-defense classes, karate-do, kendo, and judo.
Ooh,
so those were things.
I like judo.
So I try to get back into it mainly. Mm-hmm. Kendo is fun. I love kendo. That was my favorite. Like that's why I loved it because they would just hit you with the weapons if you were incorrectly. They had us going up and down the campuses in the cold ass weather. Like it was like February. And we were in our martial arts gi and we were up there going throughout the freaking campus in a line, swinging the damn kendo stick. Ray! Good day! Ray! Good day! Just taking them steps, waking up everybody in the damn complex. Like, what the hell is that? People just yelling out these built windows and shit. And I'm just like, man. a few of my friends recognized me. He's like, oh, Corey, what the hell are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm just doing class. It's an easy A, and I like being physical, so stop it. I'm gonna get hit.
So, all right. So my question is, what's one match that you are extremely proud of?
That's tough. That's a tough one to ask. Cause I'm normally never satisfied with my matches. I'm always my
Mhm.
biggest critic. And I'll be like, I'll go back there. I'm like, man, I could have done this different, that different. And it's just stuff I got to hold in my back pocket for later. But man, it's a lot. It's a lot of good matches. Um, I say I think it's gonna have to be me and Rayo's matches. You'll probably never see it. It was a Future of Honor match. I was satisfied with that match because I felt the connection in that one of like going off of one another. I felt like we had like almost a similar like category of fighting, but we just came from two different worlds, and it was pretty cool. Manny Soriano is another one. Like pretty much all the Farm Fear members I can have a nice match with, and I'm really adaptable. But yeah, Rayo's Future of Honor match is one of my tops, and I guess Mr. Grimm is one of them with the C3W match. That was good. I always knew I was going to fight that guy. LSG is always safe with me in the ring. He's so clean with everything he does. But yeah, those probably my favorites probably going in the ring would be Rayo, Manny, and possibly LSG and Mr. Grimm. Those top four. I know Getty Cahoon. I enjoyed our hardcore matches together. But yeah, those probably the top people. I have other dream matches, but those probably top.
Awesome. So my last question, more lighter end question. What's the hardest you've ever been hit inside the wrestling ring?
The hardest I have ever been hit. Oh no, I know this one. I definitely know this one. And he's a Monster Factory, I guess, folk hero or whatever, and he comes from the mean streets of Camden City, and that's Royal Money. That is probably the hardest hitting person I've ever got hit by. The second runner-up would be Sage Matthews. That'll be it. My wannabe pro wrestling father. Who's white, and like we have a weird joke, like inside joke, where it's just he always shits on me. It's like, what the fuck you doing here, son? And I'm like, fuck you, dad. You never came back. Like, how dare you? It's like, and you like, it's funny because he's white and and I'm black, and it's just like, and he's like, I never came back from cigarettes. And I'm like, fuck you. He's like, I don't care if you came back to the past just to be a shit show dad again. Like that's how it is. Like I'm brother. Because it's funny because I'm older than him. He pretends to be my so we just make a timeline skip of him just being a dick all over again. That's how I do.
That's funny.
It's just so silly. But yeah, it had to be that match. It was a battle. It was battle of the bands or something like that. We had like a match versus match going on. So it was like two matches going on, and we had like a crowd in the middle. And I was fighting Dr. Spock at the time. But after the match, we had one big battle royale. And in that royale, Travis Jacobs, I guess, softened me up because he was being stiff at the time. He was still new. So he got me with a good one. I was like, oh man, I had to shake it off. And then Royal Money came in, and he's always heavy-handed. So came in, my jaw felt like it was about to like dislocate or something like that. It just felt like a tight pull, and all I saw was red. All I saw was red, and it just hurt like hell. It was just fire. It was just still pulsating, like just ow. And I just snapped, and I just started throwing strikes like heavily. And we were just doing a strike exchange, like really. And like everyone's like, "Oh, it's getting serious," because I'm like, "Yeah, it's serious." And now I'm just pissed. And then he throws me to Travis. I'm like, "You getting a receipt too?" So he got his receipt as soon as he ran in that damn boot. Bam. And then I got eliminated. I was just like, "Just throw me out already. Just throw me out," because I was like fuming. I was just hot. I felt steam just coming off me. I was like, I don't even want to talk to nobody, nothing. I I just wanted to throw my clothes and just go home. Like I calmed down about it. I was just like, oh man, I was like, Jesus, it rattled me. I get rattled here and there in the ring, but that was probably the hardest one.
Damn.
Like compared to all the things I've been in, like those hardcore matches all last year, nothing compared to that battle royale hit. And like battle royale matches, I'm like, they're like the worst. They're my. It's fun to go in, and then I hate going in because some random a-holes will do something stupid. Like Coast to Coast is by far the funniest when it comes to battle royales because LSG or Shaheem Ali, this happened in 2 battle royales. They even announced it. At least LSG LSG just did it. He just gives you a low blow in the battle royale. He just randomly just low blowing city people. Like I was unaware of this low blow. It just hit right on my nuts. Shaheem was like, hey, sorry about this. What? It just hits me right in the fucking dick. Father Boz was hilarious too because he just turned me around. He was like, all right, just take this. I'm like, take what? He just rapid chopping my spine. Like battle royale just gets weird. Red Scorpion flying knee, that was a doozy. The fun part of those was like Grey Wolf, the whole Bloodbound Warriors from Ring of Honor. Yeah, Grey Wolf, he came in with like a turkey drum. This is like Turkey Slam. He came in with like a giant meat stick and just started popping everyone in the ring with the greasy fucking meat stick, and then eats it afterwards. In victory, I was just like, "What is going on?"
Oh my god,
Oh,
disgusting.
So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, those are my favorites.
That's wild. So you've already kind of said it, but I kind of want to get your. This is my bonus question. I guess we'll put it out there. So right off the jump, you kind of already said it, but I want to know, like, who are your dream opponents?
The Hardys. It will definitely be the Hardys. I do want that hell. I do want this weird match with Jeff Hardy where it's like we're fighting on top of the Hell in a Cell. There's a ladder, and one of us is gonna have to jump off it through the announce table, so on top of one another. And like that's how I always fantasize that with the Hardys. And then it's Damian Priest, my coach, because I want a Heaven and Hell match with him because he was a Monster Factory demon. And since last year I was a Monster Factory God when I became the first ever Supersonic heavyweight champion there. So I wanted that Heaven and Hell match like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. but it'd be different because not too different, but they were both respected. But you can tell who's supposed to be the good one and the evil one. But like I guess in this term, since I'm a heel and I'm supposed to be playing as a god, I'll probably be the evil god and he'd be the good demon that everyone loves or something like that, or the anti-hero or vigilante. That's mainly one of my dream matches is to face Damian Priest, hopefully at like a nice big facility, and we just tear the house down.
That would be awesome. I remember seeing the last match of Punishment Martinez in NXT with Keith Lee on a dark match over in here in Bel Air. So I was like, then I saw him show up as Damian Priest. I was like, oh, okay, well this is kind of cool.
That was me too.
It's like Punishment Martinez went so hard.
It did. I don't know why they changed it. Well, I guess I don't know. At least he can. If he does leave, he can be Punishment Martinez again. But I don't want him to leave. He's got too much buzz going.
Yeah.
Him and Keith Lee are killing it, along with Riddle. Riddle's SmackDown now.
Yep.
Yeah, like all the Monster Factory group dudes are killing it. So I'm just proud of them, really. I miss him, but like in my matches, you'll see me incorporate his movesets. He does the chops on the head. Like I'll always do that. I feel like that was a Monster Factory thing just for everyone to do if you're coming out the Monster Factory. Just do that as a counter.
That was like the one thing when I saw your last match. There's one thing I noticed was that when you throw a kick, like you make sounds, but you don't leg slap. So I was like, NXT would benefit having you there as a coach or even just there as a performer to teach people how to do that because Yeah, you were throwing some hard ass kicks. And I was like, you could hear the smacks. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah, it's just like it was one of those things I had to get good at too. Everyone would tell me that my kicks were weak and all this other stuff, so now I just like pretty much throw the kicks to the point where I have to because I'm a little person. So they were like, yeah, just make a lot of your strikes more impactful and throw your body into them more. So I would practice a lot of striking mainly at Worldwide Dojo. They had a kicking pad. I would practice my kicks there. Monster Factory had the dummy, but sometimes it would be water in it, water not in it. But Bob was always cool. I love my stunt, my test dummy #2 friend Bob, who was actually a dummy. So we grew up together. He taught me a lot of moves. He taught me how to high fly. But yeah, coach, strike wise, yeah, that's mainly what I had to get good at. And then also, it was Damian Priest and Danny Cage who gave me the biggest wake up call with my strikes too. When they told me it was 2 incidents. It was one where I was striking. He was like, "What are you here? Play wrestler, or are you here to be a wrestler? Like hit that thing, like hit it." And I was like, it got to me because it's like you let your your sensei down in a way where it's like you were having fun. Now it's like it's not playtime. It's a serious moment. It's like, oh shit. But there was that sense, and then it was the second time when I tried to like go for it, it wasn't good enough. They was like, I think Danny Cage finally got in my head too with that, along with Damian Priest. He was like, you got listen, you can do all these cool athletic stuff all you want and whatever, but all your strikes are shit. And you have options of being a referee, not a wrestler, a luchador, or like a bell ringer or something like that. And I was just like, I gotta get it down. So I just, for like a whole month and everything, I would just try to work on striking, hitting, and everything else, try to lay it in and be safe at least. Like, don't be like trying to harm too much, but just make it snug. And I prefer contact anyway. I'm not a fan of getting ghosted when I'm hit. I'd like pretend like I'd be like thank you and all, but you can at least hit me. Like I grew up like pretty much in the rough neighborhoods and everything else, so I'm happy with that. So growing up in Philly, I'm used to like fights and like rough housing and dealing with combat sports and all stuff. Jersey as well when I moved there. So I'm like just lay it in. But I'm not mad about that. And that's why I was glad Mr. Grimm was good with that too. So he was laying his strikes in. And I was like, yeah, son, I need this. Like there'll be wrestlers out there that'll ghost things. I'll be like, all right. And now my reactions would be weird. It'd be like a weird delay. Like I'm lagging.
He said like he's lagging. So you've been okay. So you said you've grown up in like the kind of like roughest neighborhoods, and I'm sure you probably heard a lot of criticism and probably a lot of feedback. But I'm curious about what's been your favorite fan interaction.
Favorite fan interactions? I don't know. Like, probably Brian. Brian, right? He's always one of our shit talkers at the Monster Factory. He always be playing around. He's always good to play off of too. He gets the crowd going, like having a good time and whatnot. So it's good to have him on there. Crowd interactions, I do miss Peyton. She was like one of my top fans too. She always came up with the signs, showing love and support. The Mitchells, they were always like everyone was like a big family at the Paul Girl Monster Factory, so everyone was kind of involved as a crowd reaction and everything else. So I miss that a lot.
I mean, where has been your favorite place to wrestle?
Dang, that's hard. I do love my Monster Factory area. Like that was always a comfort zone. But right now, I do wish to perform for Ring of Honor. Like really, so I just want to bust my ass at the dojo really, and just hopefully earn my right there. Um, that was probably my highlight is being at least they gave me the chance to perform with their new tag team SOS. They're from MCW. They're great. I love Moses Jasper. They're the nicest dudes you can meet. They'll teach you. But I was surprised that me and Getty Cahoon were able to perform at the Hammerstein Ballroom, which is a legendary ballroom. I'm just like, what? Like when they told us, like, hey, get your gear on. You're going to be a squash match. It was a squash match. I was grateful for that. But it's going to be at the Hammerstein Ballroom. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the whole place. ECW. I'm just like, what? I was like, it was dope. Like, we did it, we did everything, we took moves well, but it was just drinking everything in when we stepped in the middle of the ring was just intoxifying. I'm just like, oh my god, like it's just in awe. And like everything's just quiet and just lights, and you just feel like everything's circled. And then luckily, Rob Farah, he's a big pro wrestling fan. He's always on independent circuit. He's always following Ring of Honor. He loves Kushida. And he noticed us right from the spot. He was there with like another person. He was like, "We the Hexx, Hyena, got it." Oh yeah, we waved to him and everything. It was just like, yeah. We did like the Super Mark thing. We did the generic tag team coming out and everything else. So it's like, yeah, they look like jobbers, so it was whatever.
So, my last question for you, because you have talked about wanting to be in Ring of Honor, where's the future? What's the end goal? Like, where do you see yourself?
I just want to be a product of the company, like just go through, like, you know, Future of Honor, and then throw the main roster, like getting there, like, you know, how you go to NXT and you get the WWE type of thing. Like, that's how I feel with it. I want to be able to do that and hopefully get the battle with some New Japan wrestlers as well, because I want to go to Japan too. I want to be Hexx in Japan. That'd be dope. Like, I do have a few favorite like wrestlers over there. So like Los Ingobernables is cool. Okada is cool. One of my biggest inspiration for what I do with the handspring headbutt is like Homa, or like, you know, Makabe and Homa, that tag team. Like Homa will always do the headbutt, and I would always like, come on, do it, and they always move, and he misses it. And I'm like, damn, and like I just love the entertainment factor. You know it's about to happen, but you just gotta go with it anyway. And it's just so thrilling and entertaining with him. And he has like the golden Goku hair. He has the pink trunks, the golden boots with it. And he's like so tan. And I'm like, who is this guy? Is this coming out of a comic book? Throwing headbutts. So it was cool. DDT Mikami was dope too. My friend Juan Rivera, he's a hardcore pro wrestling fan. He loves the Japanese death matches and all that stuff. He put me on the DDT Mikami, and I'm looking at DDT Mikami. I'm like, this is early Team Extreme before Team Extreme. He's coming out with ladders. He has the mesh shirt with the baggy pants, and he's doing these crazy high-flying moves. And I was like, this is Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy before the Hardys. And and he came out with a dope theme song too when he came to the crowd. And one of the matches I did see him face was like the dude Big Dick Togo. I'm just like, that name alone already sells tickets for me. How do you know Big Dick Togo? I was like, what? So yeah, I do plan on paying homage to him, the DDT Mikami. One of his moves I am trying to work on in the matches. I'm mad I didn't get to incorporate in our the match I had with Sladen on. But I'll eventually remember and put it in there because I have a lot in my arsenal that I just need to, you know, put down on paper what I want to do today. But yeah, that's mainly what I want to do. Ring of Honor, just try to like be international, be groomed before I get to like WWE, be like, you know, like Styles and Shinsuke and all those. It was been like throughout every business and just be like, all right, they're like fine tuned and just perfect. They can just put on 5-star matches without even like thinking really too much. They can just be comfortable.
Alrighty, I guess it's my turn.
Oh, snaps.
Alrighty.
No more.
My first question for you will be, what is the worst bump you've ever taken?
It was last year. It was my fault completely. It was last year at Fusion Championship Wrestling, which is owned by Mofo. And I faced Jackson Stone and it was a basketball court type of setting. It was in an auditorium, and I did that match with Jackson, and I had a blast with him. He orchestrated that one really decently, and I enjoyed that match a lot. I wish I worked with him more. He's really clean in the match. But after that, later on, during the ending of the match of the show, I was supposed to do a dive on everybody so they could clear out, and then the main two people can like focus on their match. And I forgot who the main freaking people were because I took that nasty spill, and I told everyone in the back I was going to do a moonsault. And everyone in the back was like, all right, cool. He can land on his feet and it'd be all right. And then I wasn't feeling it because I'm really indecisive of how I want to fly today. And I told Max Sterling, the classy wrestler, I'm going to change it. I'm going to do a corkscrew. I'm the whisper in the wind. And he's like, all right, cool. You do realize I'm not the person catching you in this. I'm back here. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to let everyone know. I got sidetracked somehow, and I didn't let anyone know. And then when the moment happened, everyone's thinking I'm doing a freaking moonsault. I do the whisper in the wind, and I think it's probably in my IG somewhere. And I did it. Everyone thinks they're going to catch me. They kind of like fall. They already fallen, but they completely do not catch me. Whisper it all the way to the freaking floor of the hard basketball floor. All you hear is smack. The whole auditorium is quiet. Whole auditorium is quiet, and everyone's supposed to catch me do a delay fall afterwards when I already smacked the ground. and Dr. Carl is like, because it was Unstable versus someone, I just can't remember the team. And Carl is just like beside himself. It's like, oh my God, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Oh my Lord. Because everyone's like, ooh. Because it wasn't like a big type thing. It was just a smack and just silence. To the point, like, yeah, I felt that. It was right on my sciatic nerve and everything else. But I already was like kind of injured before that. And somehow that basketball floor hammered out my sciatic nerve and transferred to a different pain in my tailbone. I get to the back though. Everyone's cool fighting whatever. I get up and I'm already fine. I'm standing like I'm cool. Yeah, that sucked, but I'm like, I got a lot of adrenaline going.
Right, yep.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, are you dead? Oh my God, what was that? And Mofo was like, please don't do that. Let everyone know. You don't have to do crazy stuff outside. Just like, or whatever. He's like, are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm cool. Then the EMT shows up. And there's like two heavyset dudes, and they're just with the gurney already. They're like, are you okay? Because we got the wagon ready and everything else. That fall was nasty. Are you sure you don't need medical attention? I'm like, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm chilling. Yeah, just cool. Just another day. Just another bump. Whatever. I'm a high flyer. I know these risks. So they were like for 5 minutes arguing with me like, yo, I think you need the gurney or anything else. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm all right. But luckily, my buddy from college, he was there because he worked security, I guess, near the neck of the woods. And he was like, "Are you okay?" and asked me questions like, "Is his girlfriend scared?" Everyone else was all right. All these fans were just like, "Are you okay?" And I was telling them I'm all right and whatnot. Like I didn't feel it till like the next day, but it was just my tailbone, so I couldn't like sit properly for a good minute. And I was just like on the side. Like one left cheek gotta support the other. I'm sorry.
All right. So you've been in quite a bit of matches. So my question for you would be, what is possibly one of the worst matches you've ever been a part
of? I'm not a fan. My worst match. I have like probably two. I have an unprofessional one, and possibly one where I wasn't general ring ready, and I just let this kid do anything, and then the kid got hurt. It was okay. All right, so I won't. I know the Chris Banks Mia match wasn't my favorite because I feel like we could have did more. I don't know who cut the time. I wasn't ready for time getting cut because there was still more than the match. I wasn't winded or anything, but it stopped short, and I was kind of upset because I want everything to run smoothly, but you know, you got what you work with. But the one kid, it was one of Rudy's students. The dude trained, Brian Danielson and a lot of other future stars down in Texas. He drove up for like a seminar, and one of the students, I had a match with him. We both were high flyings. He was Leo at the time, and he told me he could do all these things. And I was like, all right, cool. I can take a lot of these moves. I was fine with it. But then he finally went airborne, and I guess one of his legs didn't make it over the ropes, and then he got caught and tumbled down, and I didn't catch him in time, so he kind of took a nasty fall. But we continued the match, and then there was like another high flying thing he couldn't get off, and it was just like, all right, he ain't flying no more. All right, we want to have to stop that. And then there was like a miscommunication on like positioning and everything else, and you can see like me being a professional, and I'm like the frustration of handling it poorly. And then we just like going in the back and we're just doing it. All I could do was just accept the failure that I felt bad because I felt like I couldn't lead and I couldn't catch the kid so he can continue to like keep on going. But I really wanted to rematch so we could like get it done because I knew he could do stuff. Like he was talented, he was athletic and whatnot. It was just probably, nerves or something like that, like a jitters. That's what I kind of took it as. So, and then it's me being inexperienced as well, of like how to like keep it going without any like fumbles. So that was probably one of my worst matches, just because of the inexperience levels, I believe.
All right. My next question for you would be, what would be the best advice you would give to up and coming wrestlers coming into the industry?
Mouth shut, ears open. Mouth shut, ears open always helps. It's cool. You don't have to be a loner or a stranger or whatnot. Just everyone's there to help each other, supposedly. But just get yourself around people that actually give a damn about your product and really, really digest any camps you go to and know what you want to be. And then sometimes you don't know off the bat really what you want to be in pro wrestling. Sometimes it's given to you. Sometimes it's be gifted, or you'll just find yourself later on. But yeah, those are my big advice starting out. Always attack the opportunities given to you there, and don't throw people under the bus. It just makes you look terrible.
All right, and my final question for you is, when your pro wrestling career is all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
What do my legacy want to be? I just wanted to be something inspirational that someone could take years later and just, use it as a drive to motivate them to get to success. Like, literally, that's all I want. Just make an impact on someone's life. And, like, I can, to me, I just want to etch my name in history by doing that. So, in a way, I can have an immortality of not being forgotten. Like, that's how I feel like with life, anyway. Just do something that's, like, memorable. So, yeah, for wrestlers, yeah, do that. Always do that. Always seek your dreams. Find ways to get to it properly. Cut out the BS too, and also get in shape. Definitely get in ring shape. Cardio is key, and it's one of the hardest sports to do actually, because you're not only physical, you're also performing, acting, modeling. Physically, being a character, you got to entertain. You got to see what works, what doesn't work. Get your wind. Anything can happen. It's a signed agreement that you're in this rough house, and anything that happens is on you.
Alrighty then. It's now time for the greatest segment next to the Red Dogs Power Rankings here at the 3 count. It's now time for the 10 count questions. So, reminder of the rules, 10 questions. All right, first thing that comes to your mind. Don't take too long on it. Just think first thought. All right, here we go. We're going to start the imaginary timer here. Ding. Heard that? Y'all heard that, right? Yeah. All right. Here we go. And here we go. Favorite color?
Black.
Nike or Adidas?
Nikes. Always.
Favorite cartoon?
It's not fair. Anything anime.
All right. Well, then the next question is favorite anime.
Damn, it's between Speed Racer and Kinegamon and Ronin Warriors. And then there's Outlaw Star too. Damn, that's the hard one.
It's a Friday night.
Give me Kinegamon. I talked about it earlier.
All right, bet. We'll take that answer. All right. It's a Friday night. What are you doing?
Bullshit.
Batman or Superman?
Batman, always.
Yes,
I got
sir.
a Joker tattoo and a Harley Quinn tattoo. I'm a big fan of the animated series.
Let's go. Let's go. I lost my place. Where was I? Oh, yes, here we go. Last show you binge watch.
Last show I binge watched?
Mm-hmm.
The Floor is Lava on Netflix.
Oh, damn.
It reminds me
All
of Nickelodeon's Legends of Hidden Temple fused with Indiana Jones Love Child. That's what it reminds me of. It's very cool.
What's the best match you've ever seen?
That's a tough one. That is very hard. That's not fair. The best match I've seen. Screw it. I'm going to say Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam.
It's not a bad match. It's not a bad match.
I do like that match. I was going to say Hardy versus Undertaker. That one was one of my favorites too.
Alrighty, and favorite opponent?
Manny Soriano.
And last but not least, and my favorite one out of the 10 count questions, favorite curse word?
That's also hard because I use all of them. I think I want to say damn. Maybe
all right.
Damn. I would say fuck. But it'd probably be damn.
All right, cool.
Also,
going with
cunt is
damn.
also one of my things. I will say cunt.
That's awesome. Well, you have now just passed the 10 count questions.
Yes.
Round of applause. Round of applause. There we go. Round of applause. Oh, man. Sir, I just want to say thanks again, man, for coming on the show. Definitely appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, guys. This was entertaining.
Oh, we try to be. So cool. Definitely drop your socials here so all the fans and all the listeners can definitely give you a follow.
All right. Let's see here. IG, Hyena Hexx. With 2 X's, by the way. It used to be 3, but we had to make it kid friendly. So 2 X's. Deadass, my first pair of tights had 3 X's on them. And I properly put them near the middle section. So my name would start from the ass, and the X would end up right near the crotch area. So it would go throughout the whole gooch.
That's pretty.
Made by Z's Creations. I'm mad we got rid of them though.
That's pretty cool. I'm mad, man. That's cool. That's creative.
I'm still keeping that. They're still my masterpieces. I don't care. They're my first tights.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Facebook Hyena Hexx, and if you want to try to book me, Gmail me at Hyena Hexx.
Awesome.
Twitter
All
Hyena Hexx, and also Skullduggery. But I'm not big of a Twitter shitter, so I'll be browsing here and there on there.
Awesome. Well, like I said, big thanks to Hyena Hexx for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to sign off here. So, with that being said, my name is Chaz Evans here with the Napster. here with the Red Dog, and missing in action is the Idol Master himself, Chris Idol, but he's not here. He's fighting the good fight of coronavirus. Yep, that's what I'm going with. Yep, he's out there fighting coronavirus. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in. He definitely needs to be, because it'd be a damn shame if he caught it and bring it to all of us. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's move on from that topic. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to the next episode of the 3 Count Podcast, now entering the ring. You definitely don't want to miss it. So be there or be somewhere fucking else.
Whoop! Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is JJ, 1/4 of the 3 Count Podcast. Make sure that you follow us on all the social medias. Make sure you subscribe on all podcasting platforms. And make sure you share with all of your friends. JJ out.